Welcome YouTube, this is Zivit by YISRAEL coming to you again. Today I'm going to talk to you about false prophets. We're going to discuss how to identify them, how the Bible tells us we are supposed to handle them. We're going to also talk about some of the consequences that they're going to face. And we're also going to teach you some ways to judge whether or not a person is of the Most High or if they are practicing in false doctrines. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to begin at the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, and we're going to start at verse 33. It says, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints." So what that's saying is, once you understand that the Father is not of confusion, and you'll see the confusion that these false prophets are bringing is not of the Most High. So they're not of the Most High. But we're going to continue. We're going to go ahead and go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 24. And it says, "For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall even deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you this before." And that was verse 24 and 25. I apologize. So right there, the Father is saying that there are going to be a false Christ. He has an S on the end of that, so that means it's plural. That means more than one. There are going to be false prophets with the S on the end. And these people are going to show great signs and wonders. And they're going to be so convincing that they're going to deceive even the very elect. Alright? And so we know these people are going to be crafty. Now, if you stay in Matthew chapter 24 and go to verse 5, it says, "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and deceive many." And skip down to verse 11, "And many prophets shall rise and deceive many." So these other two scriptures are really confirming that it's going to be a lot of people deceived. Even the smartest of smarts, the richest of rich, the most intelligent of intelligence, they're all going to be deceived by a false prophet or a false Christ. If you follow me to Hosea, if you follow me to Hosea chapter 4, and we're going to read verse 6. It said, "My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will forget thy children." So what he is saying is, here he's giving you a foreshadowing of some of the consequences that's going to come for these people who rejected the knowledge, who's not speaking the truth, the ones that's not priests of him, the ones that's forgotten his laws. He says that I will also forget thy children. And that's just a foreshadowing of some of the consequences that's going to come later. Now if you turn with me to Peter, 2 Peter. And we're going to chapter 3. And we're going to read verses 15 through 15 through 17. "And account that long suffering of our Lord, of our Hamashiach, is salvation. Even our beloved brother Paul, also according to his wisdom given unto him, which unto him hath written unto you, as also in his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable wreck, as they do also the other scriptures, unto their own destruction. Therefore, beloved, seeing these things before, beware lest ye also be led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness. So he's giving you another warning right there, to don't be led away with the error of the wicked. And if you follow me to James chapter 1 verse 25. No, I'm sorry, verse 26. It says, if any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. So right there is letting you know that it's going to be a false doctrine, and it's going to be in the form of a vain religion. And now that we know that we should be warned, that the Bible does warn us about that, now we need to figure out what are false prophets, or what is a good description of some of the things that false prophets would do. It's not giving you a physical description, because there are many. They can be dressed or anyone. So the first thing we need to look at is going to be Nehemiah chapter 9 and verse 26. Nevertheless, they were disobedient, and they rebelled against me, and cast thy laws behind their back, and slew thy prophets which testified against them to turn to thee, and they wrought great provocations. So what that's saying right there is a false prophet is going to be disobedient to the Most High. He's going to rebel against him. They're going to put the laws behind their back. They're going to forget about the Bible or the Old Testament. And they're going to slew the prophets which testify against them. And they're going to convince them to turn their backs to them, to turn to them. So what they're going to do is they're going to be so into what they're doing. They're going to actually trick people who are on the truth to go back. And that's why it says they wrought, meaning brought great provocations. So let's look at some more ways. Now we're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 23. Now this chapter is a little bit longer, but it is very in detail to what a false prophet does, or characteristics of them, or what it would look like on the outside looking in. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem. Okay, we're reading in Jeremiah 23 verse 14 through 40. It's a little bit lengthy, but it gives a very, very beautiful picture of what a false prophet looks like. So it's worth the read. 14. I've seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of the evildoers, that none doeth return from the wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom and the inhabitants of Gomorrah. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood and make them drink water from the gall. For from the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land. Thus says the Lord of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not out of the mouth of the Lord. They say unto them that despise me, the Lord hath said, ye shall have peace. And they said to every one that walketh after the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you. For those who stood in the counsel of the Lord have perceived and heard the word, which has marked his word and heard it. Who has marked his word and heard it? Behold, a whirlwind of the Elohim is going forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. And the anger of the Lord shall not return until he hath executed, and until he hath performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days ye shall be considered perfectly. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they would have turned from their evil ways and from their evil doings. Am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God afar off? Can any hide himself in secret places, and I not shall see him? Saith the Elohim. I do not feel the earth. Do I not feel the heaven and the earth, saith the Elohim? I have heard what the prophet said, and the prophecy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Ye are the prophets of the deceit of your own heart. 27, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as the fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. The prophet that had a dream, let him tell a dream. He that hath my words, let him speak my words faithfully. What is chaste to the weak, saith the Elohim? Is not my word like fire, saith the Lord, like a hammer that breaketh the rock into pieces? Therefore I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that steal my words from everyone from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that use their tongues and say, he saith. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Elohim, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies and their lightness. I have not seen them, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit of this people at all, saith the Most High. And when the people, or the prophet, or the priest shall ask thee, saying, what burden of the what is the burden of the Elohim? Thou shalt say unto them, what burden? I will forsake you, say I will even forsake you, saith the Most High. And as for the prophet and the priest and the people that say the burden of the Lord, I will even punish that man and his house. Thus shall ye say, everyone to his neighbor and everyone to his brother, what has the Elohim answered, and what has the Elohim spoken of? And the burden of the Lord shall you mention no more, for every man's word shall be his burden. For you have perverted the words of the living God, of the living Elohim, and of the Lord of hosts, of our Elohim. Thus shall thou say to the prophet, what has the Elohim answered thee, and what hath the Elohim said. But ye say, the burden of the Elohim, therefore, thus saith the Elohim, because ye say this word, the burden of the Lord, I have not sent unto you, saying, ye shall not say the burden of the Lord. Therefore, behold, I, even I, will utterly forget you, and will forsake you, and the city I gave to you and your fathers, and cast you out of my presence. I will bring a everlasting reproach on you, and a perpetual and a perpetual shame, which shall not be forgotten. So there, and that one was a little long, but it starts to go into some of the consequences of the things that the false prophet would do. But let's just point out a few things that he says that they're going to do. He said they're going to prophesy lies. They're going to prophet they're going to be prophets of the deceit of their own house, of their own heart. They will cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell to every man and to his neighbor. They have forgotten my name for Baal. He said, I have a dream, I have a dream. And then it says, the prophet that has a dream, let him tell a dream. And he that have word, let him speak my words faithfully. So right there he's saying that it's going to be people that's going to say that they're coming in his name, and they're not. They're prophesying lies. They're going to tell you they dreamt stuff, that they didn't really dream, or that they did dream, but the Father's telling you, don't worry about the dreams. Don't worry about the dreams. If he tell you a dream, anybody can have a dream, but what he's saying is, he that has my word, let him speak my word faithfully. So in other words, don't go by your dreams. You should be going by his word. And then he says that he's against them. He's against these people. And he said he's gonna, he's against those that prophesy false dreams and do tell the dreams and cause his people to err with their lies and their, oh, the Father told me. He said, yeah, I send them not. He's telling you, look, that's not me. That's not my work. So now we're gonna go to Mecca 3 and 5. Starting at verse 5. It says, thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry peace, and putteth not into their mouth, and he putteth not into their mouth. They even prepare war against him. So he's saying that these false prophets are gonna cause his people to err, and they're gonna bite with their teeth to people, and the people are gonna cry, and they're gonna be saying it's about peace. He's saying that you bite with your teeth and you cry peace. But these people even wage war against the Most High. So there in Micah is telling you more descriptions of what a false prophet would look like. Again, a lot of these scriptures are going to say the same thing, but I'm hoping that it registers in your brain, You know, that the Bible, it's a lot of scriptures about false prophets, because as the word that we just read says, there are going to be many of these. And so that's why there are so many scriptures about the things that false prophets do, because he knew they were going to say, oh, I'm of you, Father, I'm of the Most High, you can believe me. He knew that. And so he addressed that prior to you even encountering that, because this word was written prior to anybody that's alive was written. So he knew that. And so he is giving me warnings if you pay attention. Now we're going to go to 1 Timothy chapter 4 verses 1 through 2. And it says, now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. So right here it's saying they're going to be doing this stuff, and it's going to be on them so hard that it's going to be as if it was seared on them with a hot iron. And we can look at that as an example of if you ever burned a shirt with the iron when you was trying to iron it, or a pair of pants, or any kind of cloth, and you left the iron on there too long. Once you pull that iron off, that iron burn stain is going to always be on that garment. And so that's what he's saying here. And the reason why he's telling you this is, as we go through, it'll start to reveal itself, is that it's a connection there. Not only are they false prophets, and they're not going to turn away from their evilness, they're going to be that stubborn and that stuck to this false doctrine that no matter what you say, no matter what you show them scripturally, they're going to be blind to the truth. Now, I want to go to Isaiah 56 and 10. I had all of my pages marked, but obviously something must have fell out when I was looking through the pages. So, give me a few seconds. Alright. Isaiah 56 and 10. This is another description of the Father talking about these false prophets. It says, his watchmen are blind, and we're going to say that his is Satan. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. Sleeping, laying down, and love to slumber. Those are some of the characteristics of idleness. They're not doing anything. Verse 11, it says, yeah, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. They are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own ways, everyone for his gain from his quarter. So right there, the Father is telling you that these pastors, these so-called watchmen of the Bible, he's saying they're blind. They can't see the truth. They're all ignorant, mean dumb. They're all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. And now he's telling you, describing more in detail to their idleness. Not only can they bark to alarm you, the only thing they can do is sleep, lay down, and they love to slumber, take naps. And what that means is their minds are idle. They're not trying to learn the truth. And then it says they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. And you know these because these are the pastors and prophets and ministers and teachers that, you know, they've had a building fund for 30 years and still hasn't built a building. You know, they'll say, oh, we just need $2 more to make it to this amount of money for the offering today. You know, or they'll say, they'll never have enough. They're always having and holding you know, some kind of demonic service or revival or conference, a pastor's anniversary. So they're always doing something. They can never have enough. It's always one more. It's always another one. It's always another one. And they said they are shepherds. They can't understand. So they're over sheep, but they don't have no understanding. And he said, and they look to their own ways. Because they don't have no understanding, they look into their own ways. And he said, every one of these people are for their gain from his quarter. And quarter is money. We know gain is to, like, it's an addition. So everyone is adding to their money. All these people are just getting money, and the word is clearly saying that right here. Alright. And so we're going to go ahead and move on to 1 Corinthians. And we're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. And I want to read 19 through 21. And it says, now I'm going to start at verse 18. It says, behold, Israel after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? What say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifices to do to idols is anything? But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to God. I would not that ye have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and of the devil's cup. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the tables of the devils, and that's plural. So there in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, it's verses 18 through 21. It's telling you, you saints are going after your flesh. And you're saying, are we not which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? So they're saying, hey, look, we've been doing what we're supposed to do as far as making the sacrifices unto the altar for the Most High. And he's saying, you sacrifice these things unto the Gentiles, these false prophets. And then he says, they sacrifice into the devil, not to him, not to the Most High. So he's telling you that even though it appears that you're doing the right things by making these sacrifices and going to churches and following up under a man of God and trying to change your life, because the man of God is corrupt and he's worshiping the devil, you too are worshiping the devil when you partake of anything that has to do with the evilness and the wickedness of the Gentiles. And so from there, I got a cross scripture to Titus, which is, this is the awesome little connection I just made. I had marked it again, so just bear with me. Alright, we're at Titus chapter 1 verse 15, and it says, we're going to go up 1. So we're going to start at Titus chapter 1 verse 14 and 15. Not giving heed to the Jewish fables and the commandments of men that turn from the truth unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know God, but in their works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient unto every good work, reprobate. So what he's saying is, here they're gonna give in to Jewish fables. They're going to give in to the commandments of men. They have turned they turned from the truth. He said that these people that believe these men, unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but their minds and conscience is defiled. So what he's saying right there is that everything about them is bad. They profess they know him, but based on what they do, they deny him. They do abominable things, they are disobedient, and they give into a reprobate mind. Now, that's talking about just your conscience, just your thought, just your internal. And we're also going to turn back to 1 Corinthians, and we're going to go to chapter 8 this time. And we're going to read only verse 7. Howbeit then, there is not in every man that knowledge, for some with the conscience of the idol to this hour eat it as a thing offered unto the idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled. So what he is saying is, every man that don't have knowledge, some of them, the man that doesn't have knowledge, some of them have their consciences turned to an idol, and they offer things unto this idol, and that means that their conscience is weak, and that means they're defiled. So you don't need to follow those type of people. The Bible gives us warning, people. We have to wake up to this truth. We have to wake up to this truth. All praises to the Most High, Ahaya. We're going to go to 2 Peter, and we're going to read we're going to go to 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter, and we're going to read 1 through 3. And it says, but there are false prophets also among the people, even there should be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Elohim brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Many shall follow their precarious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Through covetousness shall they create fictitious words that make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. So right here the Father is telling you that these prophets and teachers, they're going to be saying damnable things and making merchandise of making merchandise, and that means to buy and sell something that you buy and sell. So this is going to all of your pastors with books and DVDs for, you know, a cost to make a DVD is like 1 or 2 cents, and they're charging you like $40 for a series. This is what he's talking about. They're for profit. You know, basically, anybody who is making merchandise, who is twisting the truth and then selling it, that's who he's talking about. And then it says, their damnation slumbereth not. So meaning, their punishment is coming. It's already signed. It's just, it's not that time yet. Because we know that the God, that the Most High is the Elohim of order, and so to everything there is a season, and so we know that eventually this reign that these false prophets have is not going to last forever, and that's when you're going to see a lot of the things that's going on in Revelation, a lot of the other situations that are going on in Revelations. Now, if you would turn your book with me to Galatians. I don't know where all my pages are. This thing is crazy. See when I can't find something that I done marked off like 1,000 times. Galatians 5 and 19. It gives us another description of false prophets or evildoers, and these are more so you can apply these to like people in general, even if you were to take out the let's say the responsibility of being a pastor and just look at the man himself, not on the pulpit, not what he does on the pulpit, just him himself and how he acts and behaves on an average, everyday, consistent basis. And so now the works of the flesh, these are the evil works, these are the sinful works, are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lavishness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, such like, of which I tell you before, as I had told you also in the past time, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So there is telling you that people that do any of these things that I have revealed throughout all of the different scriptures, and the fruits of their works are of these things, Galatians 5:19 through 21. This is the evil that we are supposed to stay away from. Now, I got 2 more scriptures I want to take you to, and these are relatively close in location, so that should be even better. The first one we're going to do is Revelations 9:20, and it says, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not the works of thy hands, that they should not worship devils, and idols of gold, and silver, and brass, and stone, and of wood, which neither can see, nor hear, nor walk. Neither have they, verse 21, neither have they repented of their murderers, nor their sorceries, nor of their fornications, nor of their theft. So another characteristic is they're not going to repent. You'll never hear a false prophet coming into the church and saying, oh, I want to repent because I slept with sister so-and-so last night and I'm married or something. But, you know, or these people that's out here speaking in tongues and it's evil, it's nothing but sorcery. So he's saying, and the people that's doing the sorceries, they didn't repent for them. And the things that they stole God, they stole from God. When they took the money from the church, when they omitted things in the Bible, that's theft. For you to take on for an example, when we were reading in the word earlier about even Satan transformed himself into an angel of light, meaning he transformed himself into someone that looked like they were of the Most High. Basically, that's like a false identity. You know what I'm saying? That's like identity theft. You know, if my name ain't Bill and then I go doing things as Bill, that's identity theft. And in the real world, that's even punishable lie. So why do these false prophets and preachers think that doing it in the spiritual world that it's not punishable? It's just, like I said, their own consciousness will be seared on them as hot irons. That's the best way to describe it. No matter what we say or do, no matter how much we do see the wrong in there, in what they do, it's so on them that it has now become a part of them. Just like when you burn that, like we described earlier, when you burn that shirt with that iron, and that iron print stays on it, that's now a part of that shirt. These evildoers are now a part of them, and that's why we must stay away from them. That's why we must learn who they are so we can stay away from them. Alright, and we're going to go to 2 John, and we're going to go through the 2 John, the first chapter, and we're going to read 9 through 11. It says, whoever transgresses and not abideth in the doctrine of Christ hath not the Elohim. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ hath both the Father and the Son. If there come any unto you and bringeth not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither be it him Godspeed. Here it goes. Listen carefully. For he that biddeth him, the false prophet, the false teacher, the evildoer, if you bid them Godspeed, it is to be a partaker of his evil deeds. Now, that is what the scripture says. It says, for he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil doers. And you just co-signed on it. You ever heard of in the real world, when you are with somebody that commits a crime, you are accessory to crime, so right there the Father was telling you, you're going to be accessory to their crime. You're going to get punished just as well as they did. And that's important when you're trying to figure out how should you handle false prophets. If you know the word of God, the word of the Most High says that you're going to be partakers in their evil doing. If you say, hey, that's your thing, do your thing. That's you wishing them well. You tell them go ahead. You didn't tell them not to. So if you didn't tell them not to, then you must be telling them to do it. That makes you a partaker, and that means you're gonna suffer in the consequences and the wrath of the Most High, like they did. And so, how we'll get from under this, we'll go into a little bit later. But let's go through a few consequences. The consequences aren't going to be that long, because Jeremiah 23:14-40 really showed a lot of the consequences. Overall, besides a second death and eternal fire, and the Father disowning you, it's nothing left really. So that really sums it up. But we're just going to look at Revelations quickly. At Revelations 18 verses 3 and 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Revelation chapter 18, verses 7 and 8. I lost my place. Sorry about that. It says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrows. So this is what some of these false prophets are saying, and then could go to consequences. Therefore her plagues come to her in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For the strong is in the Most High, who judges them. Hello. In one day. Now, most people know a day is 24 hours. But, in other words, all at one time, everything bad is going to befall at one time. He's saying, in one day, you're going to have plagues, death, mourning, famine, and be burned with fire. In one day. And now let's go to Matthew 23. And we're going to go to, Matthew 7. We're going to go to Matthew 7, and we're going to read the Matthew 7 and 23. When it says, and I will profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. And then we're going to skip up to 19. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit shall be hold down and cast into the fire. So right there, he's giving you a description of some of the what's gonna happen. He's gonna cast them down into the lake of fire. And here goes some more consequences. Go back to Micah chapter 3, and we're going to read verse 6 this time. Therefore, night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision. It shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine. The sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. And verse 7 it says, then shall the seers, the people who see in this, be ashamed, and the diviners be confounded. And those people say they're so divine, they're going to be confounded. Yea, they shall cover their lips, for there is no answer of the Most High. And so they're going to be crying because they're going to be screaming and hollering because it's dark on them, and they're not going to have visions. They're going to be asking, and it should be, the day should be dark over them. If I say they're going to be covering their lips. And most people, when they cry, especially women, is a perfect example. When we cry, we do this. That's covering our lips. So we know that the Most High is going to put them to shame. We see that. Now, if we want the Most High to keep us and to save us from falling under these pretenses and these different doctrines and teachings, we need to start doing what the word of the Most High says. In the first epistle of John, chapter 1, and we're going to read 1 through 4. That which was from the beginning, which we heard, which we seen with our eyes, which we looked upon, and our hands have handled the word of life. For the life was manifested, and we had seen it, and bear witness, and shown unto you that eternal life, which was with the Father, and was manifested unto us. That which you have seen and heard we declare unto you, that ye also may fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son. And these things I write unto you, that joy may be filled. Oh, I'm sorry. I was in the wrong chapter. I'm looking like that's not what I want there. Sorry. So we're still in 1 John, but it's chapter 4, verses 1 through 4. It says, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are going out into the world, whereby ye the Spirit of the Most High, every spirit that confesses that the Hamashiach is come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that confess not that the Hamashiach is come in the flesh is not of God, and that is the spirit of the Antichrist. Wherefore ye have heard that it shall come, and even now is already in the world. Ye are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So right there is letting you know that, hey, these false prophets are out there right now. Verse 3 at the end says, even now already is it in the world. The Antichrist. The Antichrist is the false prophets as well. And he said, every spirit that confesses that Jesus has come in the flesh is of the Most High. So, and if you confess that he is not, that Christ is not come in the flesh, is not of God. And so that's giving you what separates you from them. We know that Christ came in the flesh. A lot of Christian pastors want to talk about a virgin birth. That is an absolute deception. There was no virgin birth. The Hamashiach, the son that walked on this earth, had a earthly father. That's how come the word says that if you believe that the Hamashiach came in the flesh, you are of the Most High. It's those people that saying no, he was a spirit that came in and got Mary pregnant. First of all, that's demonic. That is demonic for a spirit and a flesh to come together, have a child. That is just like back in the days when the angels were having sex with the women and they were having giants. That's not the order in which the Most High had ordered it. The Most High wanted us to know that the reason why we need to look to his son is because his son was born of the same things that we were, yet through him being obedient to the will of the Most High, when he died, he was able to be resurrected. This is just a foreshadowing of us. We're supposed to be born of the flesh, supposed to learn the statutes and commandments and the laws of the Most High, and do those things so that we can take on a perfect being once this flesh is dead. Dead both ways, spiritually and physically. Because a lot of us are gonna die in this flesh. So when we raise up for judgment, that's when you'll know whether or not you made it in or not. But a lot of people are going to expire prior to the Most High coming back, because he said there's going to be famine, there's going to be wars, there's going to be brimstone, there's going to be fire. People can't survive all of that, and everyone still lives. Now let's just be real. So moving on, we're going to go to 2 John. And we're going to read, oh no, we already read that one, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Alright, we're going to go to Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there will be which go in the retreat. Because the straight gate, but straight is the gate, and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, and few there will find it. So what he's saying there, I'm sorry I stumbled over a few words, my eyes got crossed up. So what the Father's saying there is, wide is the gate to destruction. Wide. Trying to get my hands circled in here. Okay. Wide is the gate to destruction. So these are going to be the people that, oh, you can do anything. You can sleep with the same sex. You can sin. You can blaspheme the Most High. You cannot operate in the truth. You don't have to keep the holy days. You don't have to keep the law. Only thing you got to do is just accept Christ as your Lord and Savior, and He'll forgive you for everything. That's a wide gate. That's why Christianity has about 2.6 billion followers. That's a wide gate. Now, it says, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, few will find it. So what that's saying is, the gate is going to be narrow. It's not going to be wide like the one that's leading to destruction. It's going to be narrow. Why? Because only few people are going to find it. Now those few people are going to find it because they're willing to take a chance and do every single word this book says. And those are the ones that's going to inherit the kingdom. Not the ones that, these 2.6 billion Christians. First of all, that's too many people. That's too many people. That's almost 2/3 of the population. And the Most High said that He's going to destroy 2/3 of the population. Only 1/3 of the population will be alive when the Son of Man comes back down, because we're going to go through the tribulation period. And that's going to purge and clean a lot of the sins, clean a lot of the evilness up out of there. So it's only going to be 1/3 left. So out of that 1/3, you telling me 2.6 billion of those people are on the right path? Because you cannot tell the average Christian that they're not going to hell because their pastor has them deceived that all they had to do was believe in their heart and confess with their mouth. That's one part. There are several other parts that you have to do, mainly the word. Now let's see, I'm going to give you some characteristics of a good teacher, because I've been talking a lot about false teachers, so I don't want to leave you with just that on your brain. I really want to show you what the real definition of a true teacher of the Most High would be. And we're going to go to Timothy, and we're going to go to chapter 3, verse 1 through 16. This is a true saying. If a man desire an office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lure, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth his own house well, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Not a novice, not a beginner, least being lifted up with pride, he fall into condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report with them which are without, lest he fall into reproach and snare of the devil. Likewise, deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of lure, holding the mysteries of faith in a pure conscience. Let these also first be proved, and let them who use the office be a deacon. Let them who use the office of a deacon be found blameless. Even so much their wives are grave, not slanderers, sober, faithful in all things. Let the deacons be husbands of one wife, ruling their children well, in their own houses well. For they that have the office of a deacon will purchase to themselves a good degree, and great boldness in the faith which is in the Hamashiach. These things I write unto you, hoping to come unto you shortly. But if I tarry long, that thou mayest know how thou ought to behave thyself in the house of the Most High, which is the church of the living Elohim, the pillar and the ground of truth. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. Elohim manifested in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, and receiveth up into glory. So those are the things that a good pastor would do. That's the characteristics of a good pastor. And that also helps you to understand that the Most High knew that there were going to be people out here doing all kind of things, and so he set a tone, he set a guideline for behaviors. And like I said, that was in 1 Timothy 3 and verses 1 through 16. That is your guideline for a good teacher or a pastor. And then we're going to go to Galatians chapter 5 verse 22. And we were going to read to the end of that chapter. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. And against these there is no such law. And they that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with the afflictions and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of glory, provoking one another or envying one another. So that's a description again of what you should look like in your behavior and in your characteristics and the things that you display for others to see. And if you do those things, you are the person that will inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Unlike what the Christian pastors are teaching, that is the deception. Do not follow these evil people. And the last scripture in which I'm going to go through tonight is going to be James 1 verse 25. It says, but whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continue therein, him being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. So what it's saying is, if you do the word of the Most High, you keep to the perfect law. Liberty is freedom. Freedom is truth. And continue in them. And don't forget the things that you hear or see, but you do them, you should be blessed. You should be inheriting things. Maybe not on this earth, maybe at the next, in the heavenly realm, but that's what you want. He said, do not store up yourself treasures on this earth where moth and rust can get to it. So, you know, that's what you want to do. You want to put your treasures in heaven, because that's where the glory really is. Everything in this earth is going to be destroyed, and it's going to be renewed, but it's going to be destroyed first. And what you should be looking to do with your life, because you are a child of the Most High, you're seeking to be a child of the Most High, you should really keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You should remember to not follow and be partakers of the false doctrines that's out here in the world. You should not condone your pastor if he's a false prophet. And you should keep the laws. The Father is simple. You either for him or against him. One of the examples I was given was like, I have a dog, so like in a degree, the relationship between the Most High and his children is similar to that of the relationship between me and my dog. If I tell my dog to sit, she's gonna sit, or she's gonna have some consequences. If I tell her to speak, she will bark, but she will still do as I commanded. Now, in reverse, Most High gave my dog commandments, regardless if you think so or not. When he created the heavens and the earth, he gave every animal, every thing in which he created, he gave them guidelines. He gave them a specific set of instructions to do. So when he made dogs, he said, hey, look, you're not going to speak, you're not going to talk a language to a human, but you're going to be under that human, and you're going to obey that human, and you're going to be loyal to that human. And as much as I love my dog and spoil her and kiss on her and take her for walks and things like that, she never will violate the orders of the Most High. She would never, no matter how much she loves me and I love her, she'll never come and say to me, hey mama, I want to go outside for a walk. Now she may do some gestures, and me, because I own her and I know her behaviors, so I see her needs, but she'll never speak a conversation with me. She'll never read a book to me. She'll never, drive me around in my car. She'll never, build me a house. There's certain things that she won't do. Why? Because that wasn't in the rules that the Most High gave her. The same thing with water. When the Father created heaven and earth, he created the water, but he gave the water and the land instructions. He told the water not to go outside of its boundaries and to go over onto the land. And he told the land, don't go outside your boundaries and go over onto the water. And they Even to this day, with the exception of natural disasters, the ground has not ascended up, nor has the heaven descended down. Neither has the water runneth over the land, and the land runneth over the water. When the flood was created, God gave a different set of instructions to the water, and that's why the water behaved in which it did. It flooded the earth. And then after that, he gave the land another set of instructions. Hey, look, you put some more land, you're going to go all over what was destroyed now. So the plants, even plants, hold to their specific instructions. I've never heard a plant talk. Not me. Maybe Moses, but not me. Most people haven't. And so, just as the plants don't speak, and they're alive, they grow, they blossom. They haven't disobeyed the commandments of the Most High. Now let's take that and flip that on humans. Humans, the Most High gave us a free will, so he's not just controlling robots, because there's no amazement in controlling a robot. But he gave us a free will, and we are the only people that feel that we don't have to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments, his guidelines, his rules and regulations, his borders and parameters, and we're still going to prosper. That is so much false doctrine. It is wrong. And the Bible speaks of punishment for people who feel that they are above the laws. That's one reason why there are still dogs around. That's one reason why there's still trees and plants around and water and earth, because they have no problem with obeying the commandments of the Most High. They don't have a problem with obeying the Creator. We do. Another example of this, I was saying, it's like if I'm a painter and I paint this picture, and while you're getting ready to, let's say, maybe purchase the picture or take the picture home, my painting decided to get off of the paper or the canvas and stick with me. See, that's operating out of the parameters of which the Creator created it. When I painted that picture, I painted that picture to stay on that paper. And so it does. But the children of the Most High, the children of the world, what they're doing is they're saying, hey, I don't need this canvas. You put me on this canvas, but this canvas ain't for me, so I'm going to go somewhere else where I like it. And that's just not how it was designed. So it doesn't work. And so what happens is that painting, that work was destroyed. It was destroyed because the purpose in which it was designed was removed. So it's no good. It's no good. It's just like a battery. If your battery is dead and it won't take a charge, it's no more. You got to get a whole new battery. So we have to remember these things when we're dealing with the Most High. A lot of our life imitates the laws, the structure, how processes work from the Most High. So what we have to do is fuse our world where we are today, the words that we learn from the word of the Most High, fuse it together and do exactly what we were designed to do. We were designed to worship the Most High. Dogs weren't designed to talk. That's why they don't talk. We must follow and obey the Most High at all costs, because if we don't, He promises us a life of eternal fire. And it's that serious. He said, you either for me or against me. You either keeping His law or you're not. So if we want to keep the law of the Most High, we have to get away from these false prophets. We have to get away from this doctrine of devils. We have to get away from our own thoughts, our own doings, the things that we want, our own desires, because none of this stuff is of the Most High. The Most High said in His Word that the mind is the most deceitful thing that we have, our mind and our hearts. So that's why we have to lean on the understanding of this Word. That's why we have to meditate on this Word day and night. And we have to consume this Word, every part of it, and not throw away the Word of the Most High because of these false prophets. Because that's what they're actually trying to do. The false prophets are sent here to deceive you. Because the Father said that He's going to test the purity of His gold. He's going to try you by the fire. He's going to put you in some situations that's going to crank up that heat to see if you're really for Him or not. And it's with this Word that we know what to do and how to do it, so that we can receive the blessings of the Most High, and so that we can avoid some of the punishment and some of the consequences in that eternal lake of fire. That's what this life is about. This life ain't about what you want. A lot of these people want to go on that YOLO, you only live once. Well, if that's your philosophy, have at the lake of fire. Because the Most High is not concerned with you only living once. The Most High is telling you, you're going to have a second death. So that means you're going to live again, right? That means you're going to live again. When you face judgment, that's when it's going to be determined if you're going to heaven or hell. And that's not when you die. That's when the Most High comes back. So know that don't allow your first death to create eternal fire for your second death. Obey the laws of the Most High. It's not that hard. It's just the world is so full of evil it appears hard. But that's why we have to lean on the understanding of the Most High. We have to pray and fast and put on the whole armor of God to protect ourselves from the negativity, from the evils, and to keep our flesh to keep our flesh at bay and keep our spirits pure. We have to. Every day we have to read this Word. And what I found out when I came into the truth is, the more and more I read this Word, the more and more I want to read it. It's like a burning passion in me. Like, sometimes I could be sitting in my room and I've even read the Word 4 or 5 hours and I didn't even think about it, you know. So He puts that in us. He puts that desire in His chosen ones, on the ones that stand a chance to inherit the kingdom of the Most High. He'll put that burning passion in you that no man can put out. And you know, when you come up against the evils of the world, and you are in this Word faithfully, and you are seeking the Most High, you're going to know how to handle a lot of situations, and you're going to know the outcome of a lot of situations beforehand, because there is benefits to being a child of the Most High. For one, He warns us. For two, He protects us. For three, He saves us. And for four, He gives us everything that we need. So I don't know no other person or spirit that has or will do that except for that of the Most High. And we have to remember this. You know, it is so serious about these false prophets. It's like it's like this. We can look at the Bible as a set of, let's say, manufacturer's directions. And for an example, I can go and buy a dresser, and even though the box that the dresser comes in has a picture, it don't tell you how. The picture does not tell you what goes where, which screws go where. That's what the actual directions are for. The same thing with the Word of the Most High. This is our assembly directions. And even though Christ walked on this earth, gave us an overall picture of what it's supposed to look like, this book gives detailed directions on how to make this look like what the Hamashiach had going on when he walked the face of this earth. So we need to look at this as our most valuable tool that we have. It's not a screwdriver, it's not a pen, but it will save not only your soul, but anybody who wants the true soul. It will save you from that lake of fire. And that's what this is designed to do. Separate the good from the bad. The ones that's going to the lake of fire, the lake of fire, and the ones that's not. And that's just simply put, you know, Christianity is just a vain religion that accomplishes nothing. It accomplishes nothing. But what it does is destroy everything, because it makes you feel as though, oh, I could just say, oh, God forgive me, God forgive me, God forgive me. Oh, I know it's a Jesus, so I'm going to heaven. No. He said, narrow is the gate that leads to him. Narrow. That means you can't do everything. In this little space, everything can't fit in this little space. And that's just the honest truth. You have to learn what fits in this space in order to get you into the narrow gate. You have to. This is the only thing that's going to teach you. Again, like I said on many of my other broadcasts, I'm going to do follow-up broadcasts on some of these, because a lot of these lessons really connect. All of them connect. We're just going to be honest. Everything that we teach out of this word connects to something else. It connects to something else. It connects to something else. It's like a body. A body has more than one system, more than one body part, but it's still all under one flesh. So we have to look at the word of God like that. It is still the whole word of God, but it has many parts. And all of those parts work together for life. So, again, I'm going to post some more videos. I'm going to have a questions and answers segment. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always email me. I'll leave my email address, or you can drop them below. Again, all praises to the Most High. I hope that you guys learned something from this today, and hopefully this lesson could be a benefit to you and your family, whether that family is whoever. You know, allow the words of the Most High to resonate in your heart, and know that He understands what we're going through, but He don't put nothing on us that we cannot bear. So if you're dealing with a false prophet, he's giving you the strength and the tools to defeat that false prophet. It's up to you whether you choose to do what the Most High said. And before I go, I got one other scripture that just to let you know what ultimately you need to be remembering. This is what the Father thinks of those who actually do His work and obey the law, statutes, and commandments, and are faithful, and are just, and are kind, and are loving, and are gentle, and are long-suffering. It might be 50. And for those of you who are operating in the truth and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, the last scripture that I want to share with you is what Most High is going to say once you're doing what you need to do, and to His chosen people. His chosen people this is what he's saying to you guys. Thou art my battle axe and weapon of war. For thee I will break into pieces the nations, and with thee I will destroy kingdoms, and with thee I will break into pieces the horses and his riders, and with thee I will break into pieces the chariot and his rider, and with thee also will I break into pieces man and woman, and with thee I will break into pieces old and young, and with thee I will break into pieces young men and the maid. I will also break into pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee I will break into pieces the husbandman and the yoke of his oxen, and with thee I will break into pieces the captains and rulers. So what he's planning to do with his chosen people, he's planning to turn you into a weapon of war. And when he rages war against these evil nations, you are going to be a soldier for the Most High. And that is one of the most honorable armies to be a part of, the army of the Most High. And he said, you are my battle axe. That means you're his sword, his weapon of war. That means that you're going to be fighting. You're going to be fighting for the Most High. And you're going to destroy nations. You're going to destroy the horse and his rider, the chariot and his rider, women and men, old and young, young man, young woman, the shepherd and his flock, the slave, the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. That means the slave master and his yoke. And he's gonna break into pieces captains and rulers. So he's gonna destroy a lot of things. He's tearing some stuff up. So whenever you follow this word, just know that it is for a purpose. It is for a purpose. Not only for when we're when the Messiah comes and we are his people, but also when he rages war against the evil, the enemy. The final hula, the final shirah, whatever you want to call it, the finale. It's going to be war. It's going to be blood and guts, and the Most High and his army will win, is going to win, and it's guaranteed, because as it is written, so shall it be fulfilled. And here it says we win. We win. So again, like I said, if y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always leave that. I don't even know where that came from, but the Most High put it on my spirit, so I wanted to make sure I added that in. Know that you are a battle axe, and know that you are a weapon. So the best thing you can do is weaponize yourself by gaining the knowledge that you need, so that once you gain the knowledge and the spirit comes on you, you can activate the power of the Most High and literally take down palaces and principalities and these false prophets and this false doctrine, and you'll have the ability to destroy all of those things, because when you have the spirit of the Most High and the knowledge and the truth, you have his power, and he is one powerful somebody. So with that being said, shalom, all praises to the Most High, Ahaya, Ba'ashem, Yeshaya. Till next time.